Hello students, welcome once again. In our last lecture, we discussed the concepts of total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. Today we are discussing their relationship with elasticity of demand. The formula showing relationship between all these is marginal revenue equals to average revenue into elasticity of demand minus 1 upon elasticity of demand. In this formula, E shows price elasticity of demand. Now analyze the formula. According to this formula, if elasticity is equals to 1, then marginal revenue will be calculated as 0. If elasticity of demand is greater than 1, then marginal revenue will be positive. And if elasticity of demand is less than 1, marginal revenue will be negative. As we know that the elasticity of demand is 1 in case of straight line demand curve at the midpoint, it means that MR, marginal revenue, corresponding to the middle point of the demand curve will be 0. And demand curve is also known as average revenue curve. As we discussed in our last lecture that on the basis of competition, market is of two types, perfect and imperfect. In this chapter, we will discuss only and only perfect competition market. Imperfect competition market will be discussed in our further chapters. Now we should understand what is a perfect competition market. I mean to say what are the characteristics of perfect competition market. Actually, a perfectly competitive market is that in which there are large number of sellers and buyers who compete among themselves, but there is no rivalry among the firms. Large number of sellers means that there is a large number of firms in an industry. All firms produce a homogeneous product. In perfect competition market means goods produced by different firms are identical in nature. Homogeneity of product also shows that consumers do not show preference for one product to another, as all the products in perfect competition market are homogeneous, that is same. In this situation, an individual firm has zero market power, means an individual firm cannot affect the prevailing market price. Goods are being sold at a uniform price, that is, each firm must accept the price set by the forces of market demand and market supply. Means each firm in perfect competition is price taker and not the price maker. The firms can sell as much as they choose, but only at the prevailing market price and have no power to influence that price. If any firm wishes to charge a higher price than the prevailing market price, it would find no buyer for its product, as many other firms are selling the same product at the market price and buyers would go to them and it will lose its customers. Since none of the individual firms has any control over the market, it makes no sense for individual firm to compete actively with one another. Next feature of perfect competition market is that every firm in this market is free to enter the market and go out of it. Means there is freedom of entry and exit for the firms. Similarly, buyers can also switch from one supplier to another. Next feature, there is a perfect knowledge on the part of buyers and sellers in the perfect competition market about the quantities of stock of goods in the market, about market conditions and the knowledge about prices at which transactions of purchase and sale are being entered into. Next feature of perfect competition, that facilities exist for the movement of goods from one center to another. Students, these were the features of this market. But many economists believe that perfect competition is only a myth. According to them, perfect competition does not exist in real world. On the other hand, some other assumes that grain or stock market are the examples of perfect competition. Do you have heard about the pure competition market? Yes, pure competition is a part of perfect competition, but it satisfies only three conditions of perfect competition market, and these three conditions are large number of buyers and sellers, homogeneous product, and free entry and exit of firms. It is important to note that other conditions of perfect competition do not apply on pure competition. Therefore, the concept of pure competition is comparatively easier and less inclusive concept than perfect competition. In perfect competition, industry and firm are two different entities. As we said that the firm accepts that price which is determined by industry through market forces of demand and supply. So, we should first of all consider the interaction between market forces, that is interaction between demand and supply. Means the next topic for our consideration is price determination under perfect competition. First of all, we will understand the concept of equilibrium of the industry or price determination in industry. An industry consists of a large number of independent firms. Students, remember, in this market, industry means market and firm means seller. So, when the total output or total supply of the market is equal to the total demand in the market, we say that the market or industry is in equilibrium. And the price then prevailing is known as equilibrium price, and quantity demanded and supplied at that equilibrium price is known as equilibrium quantity. We can understand this concept through a table and a diagram. There is a three-columnar table. In first column, price of the goods are given. In second column, quantity demanded at those prices are given, and in third column, quantity supplied at those prices are given. At rupees 1, quantity demanded is 20 units and quantity supplied is 12 units. As price increases from 1 to 2, quantity demanded falls from 20 to 15, as law of demand states that when price of the good increases, quantity demanded will be down. But at this increased price of rupees 2, quantity supplied increases from 12 to 15 as per law of supply. At rupees 3, quantity demanded further falls to 12 units and quantity supplied further increases to 20 units. In the table, at rupees 1, quantity demanded is more than the quantity supplied, hence there will be no equilibrium in the market. At price 3, quantity supplied is more than the quantity demanded, here also the market is not in equilibrium. But look at rupees 2, both the quantity demanded and quantity supplied are same. It means our equilibrium price is rupees 2 and our equilibrium quantity is 15 units. If we plot this data on the graph, we will find two curves. Downward sloping curve is demand curve and the upward sloping curve is supply curve. These both curves are intersecting at point E. E means equilibrium. In the diagram, OP is the equilibrium price and OQ is the equilibrium quantity, which will be sold at that price. The equilibrium is the price at which both demand and supply are equal. Therefore, no buyer and no seller is dissatisfied. It may be noticed that if the price were to be fixed at any other level, lower or higher, there would not be an equilibrium in the market. Now, the concept of firm as the price taker. Students, basically we have determined the price in the market. Now, the firms will accept this price, therefore, they are known as price taker. This is because there are large number of firms in the market who are producing identical product. As such, these firms cannot influence the price in their individual capacities. They have to accept the price fixed by the industry as a whole. Now, industry price is OP, which is fixed through the interaction of total demand and supply of the industry. Firms have to accept this price as given, and as such, they are price takers rather than price makers. They cannot increase the price beyond OP because of the fear of losing customers. They do not try to sell the product below OP, that is below market price, because they do not have any incentive for lowering it. They will try to sell as much as they can at the prevailing price OP. Now, the concepts of total revenue, average revenue, marginal revenue in the perfect competition market. Again, we have a 5 columnar tables. In first column, price per unit is given. In second column, units sold are given. In third column, we will calculate total revenue. In fourth column, average revenue will be calculated, and in fifth column, you have to calculate marginal revenue. Price per unit is same. As firm is a price taker, it cannot change the price. Suppose OP or market price is rupees 10, which is constant at every unit. And units sold are 11, 17, 20 and 30. Now, you have to calculate total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue. If we draw the curve of total revenue, we will find that it is an upward sloping curve. Upward sloping because as units sold are increases, total revenue also increases. The total revenue curve will always be upward sloping in each and every market, whether it is perfect competition or it is imperfect competition. Because as firm sells more and more, its gross receipts increase, and these receipts are nothing but its total revenue. We can see that price, average revenue and marginal revenue are 10, that is same in this market. Why this is so? Actually, average revenue equals to price, we have proved it, and marginal revenue is the additional revenue per unit sold. And as we know that in this market, firm is a price taker, it cannot increase or decrease the price, so the price is constant at rupees 10. Therefore, marginal revenue is also rupees 10. So, we can conclude that in perfect competition market, average revenue is equals to marginal revenue, which is equals to price. If we draw the curve of these three, it will be as follows. Average revenue, marginal revenue and price curves are straight horizontal line parallel to the x-axis. One more important concept we should also discuss here, that every firm in the market behaves according to the two principles for its survival, which are mostly and widely accepted. Students, we are discussing the concepts because these will help us in understanding the perfect competition market. So, two behavioral principles prevailing in the market. Principle 1. A firm should produce only if its total revenue is equal to or greater than its total variable cost. In simple words, we can say that the firm will not produce if its total revenue is smaller than its total variable cost. The firm always have the option of not producing anything. If it does not produce anything, it will have an operating loss only equal to its total fixed cost. Total loss equals to total fixed cost if it does not operate. But in case if its total variable cost exceeds its total revenue, then its loss will be more than in case of not producing. Means if total revenue is less than total variable cost, then total loss will be total fixed cost plus uncovered portion of total variable cost. Unless actual production adds as much to revenue as it adds to cost, it will increase the loss of the firm. All these three conclusions we will do with the help of numerical example in our next lecture. Now, principle 2. It will profitable for the firm to expand output whenever marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost and expand the output till marginal revenue equals marginal cost. Not only marginal cost should be equal to marginal revenue, its curve should cut marginal revenue curve from below. We can say that conditions for profit maximization are: first, marginal revenue must be equal to marginal cost, MR equals to MC, and second, marginal cost curve must cut marginal revenue curve from below. We will explain these two conditions in detail with the help of diagram in our further lectures. So students, it all was for today. Today we started with the relationship between average revenue, marginal revenue and elasticity of demand. Then the features of perfect competition market, its difference with pure competition market. We discussed how an industry reaches its equilibrium by intersection of market demand and market supply curve. The most important part we have done is to prove that firm is price taker in perfect competition market. We proved with the help of a table that average revenue, marginal revenue and price are equal in this market. We draw the curves of total revenue, which is an upward sloping curve. The curves of average revenue and marginal revenue are parallel to the x-axis and horizontal. But still there is too much to discuss under this market, like when the firm accepts the price from industry, whether it should produce or not on that price, and if it decides to produce, then how much it should produce to maximize its profit, how supply curve of a perfect competitive market is obtained, and much more. But students, the answer of all these questions will be given in the very next lecture. Till then, thanks.